The next item I'm going to discuss is opening the answer key database. This is essential before you open the database because you may get this error. When I click on the database and I say download original file, the database is here. It went to my downloads folder. And I need to capture this error message. So I'm going to print screen that. I get an error message that I'm aware of that says the active content in this file is blocked. Review it in the Trust Center or contact your IT administrator. All right, I'm going to open a document that I'm working on. Here, this is your Trust Access Security Access Center. So you're seeing the document develop in real time. Oops. So here, if students get this error, first thing it says why this happens. So it's important for students. You can right click the file, do properties, unblock, apply, reopen. There's another place in this as well. So it discussed why you're getting this error. It says you're getting this because Windows marked the access file is coming from another location. So since the information was downloaded and came from my computer, you're trying to open it on your computer, it thinks that it's corrupt. It's not a corrupted file. And here's how to fix it. It says you are using the database. That's the database that I clicked on at that time. It says it's either the database was downloaded from Cengage, which it was, sent via email, it wasn't, but it was also extracted from a zip file in my case, and in your case, probably moved to another machine. The item here, I'll delete, it says to unlock the file at the file level, close Microsoft Access completely. So Microsoft Access should not be open. My Microsoft Access is still open. So I'm going to go back to make sure that I've closed it. It says go to the folder where the file is saved. So my files were saved inside of my download folder. I'm going to have to pull it here. I can keep this one up. Right click on the Access Database file. Once you right click on the Access Database file, it says click Properties. In Properties, you'll see an option that says Security. Select Unblock. Select Apply. Select OK. And give it another whirl. Hopefully it'll work. This security error is different from the other security error. So in this case, we can't enable content. So the enable content items allowed it to open. It gave us the same error because it still recognized it as being from another computer. But this time, when we said okay, it allowed us to move past it. Here, sorry, I have a few screens open in the case. So this gives some information on the database, how you would be able to use it. And here are some other options that I was taking a look at, and this is directly from the Microsoft help. So this is directly from the Microsoft help. So if Microsoft said learn more, then I clicked on this link and it told me a dangerous macro has been blocked. You can play the video. I chose not to. It's a 2-minute video. So the videos already exist. So it tells you why macros are important, which you should do. We had our security risk. We've passed those. And then we enabled content. This item as well. Get this one. So it shows you here to do the unblock. And it also shows you the information on the trusted sites. So it gives you some options for unblocking those. I'll put the link to these items inside of the database, and it may change because some of these have changed since I started putting them there. If they change, they haven't disappeared. Microsoft has just moved them someplace else. So you have to just go in the search to be able to find them. I'm not going to be able to keep up with all links, but it'll get you in the right direction. So I'll put this link here. So let me copy it into the document that I'll be providing for you, and then we'll get back to the database. All right. So that'll be the direct link, and I'll provide this document as well. So now that I can open the actual database itself, I'm going to close that. I have the database open. When you initially opened it, it looked like it was still nothing. I opened the navigation pane, and here is where you can do your additional searching, or kind of, again, in parallel, trying to determine what was done or what's different from your database if you get errors or if you have an item that you don't understand. I just happen to click on the query because sometimes the queries have the most issues. SQL view, we're going to go to design view. In design view, the relationships are shown, the tables are outlined, and your report, I'll close here. You'll see the items there. Students have gotten several errors. This is my printer connection because it's trying to connect to different things. You may not see this. I don't have to print anything here, but thanks that I am. Tables, tutor. I'm trying to recreate an error. Let me see if I can do. It's hard to see with the recording items, so I'm going to have to drag this down a little bit. I'll do create, query wizard, crosstab, tutor. There it is. Oh, that's not it either. I'm trying to make an error where the item, I've gotten several students that has an item that has said that it's null. Objects are open when you're trying to use them. Let's create. Let's see, maybe form wizard. If I can't recreate the errors, most of the time the error will occur if you have multiple items open. So if you have multiple, if you still have the table open or the query open, or you still have a report open and you're trying to make changes to it or modifications to it, then it'll give you an error message. It'll say can't be used because object is being used or locked by another user. Let me go back to this table for a second, or this. Notice here, this is the database that I opened. This is the database that I did not change the security settings on. This database that I have open is locked. It says L for an ACCDB. It's a locked database. It's locked because, again, when you're updating data, it keeps one person from overwriting the other person's data. If we're doing a large data entry for a company, or that example, that LDB will go away when you actually close the database itself. The reason for that is to be careful, because don't try to upload that one. If you don't close it, it's not going to force you to save it. You need to do your compact and repair and go from there. Okay. So that should assist in your items in the database and the error messages. Students that email me and tell me that they cannot open the database that's been attached will receive at least a 5-point deduction on any material submitted this week. Because that means that, and 5 points isn't a lot, but it holds students accountable for knowing, reading, and using the resources that's in the course. So if you've made it to the end of this message, then you'll get 5 points on the assignment for this week. Just send me a message and said, with the topic, made it through part 3, module 6, and you'll get your 5 points on your assignment. So have a great day, and we're going to go back to the folder to make sure that you have access to everything and that you have seen everything and know how to use your items to be able to be successful.